Hi, I'm Reverend Natalie Jean, and we're back with you with the Infinite Elevation Hour. I'm here with my co-host,
Erlene Germain.
and we're here to give you some insightful spiritual news, some creative spiritual things. We're just going to talk about the things that other people won't talk about, bring to light, because we just like to talk. We like to talk about spiritual things. We like to bring them out. We like to feel the passion in the room. We like the energy in the room. So, Erlene, how was your day?
I'm trying to think of a word that I haven't used the day that wasn't coming. I was going to say eventful, and I'm like, I probably said that before. I was going to say busy. I was like, I've probably said that before. So maybe I haven't said interactive.
Interactive. Well, that's a new word. Interactive. We'll use that a lot today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it was interactive.
How about you?
My life has been extremely busy. I don't know. My head's about to spin off. Work is extremely busy. Extremely.
Okay.
It's been stressful at work. I'm trying to, it's funny, my boss has been telling me, who's normally the person that's, freaking out at these things, she's like, Natalie, you just need to be more zen. And I'm looking at her like, what? I've really worked on her. So she's telling me to be zen, but it's like these things are really important. We have to do these applications to the government agencies so we can get funding to acquire these buildings so that we can renovate affordable housing in Section 8. And it was just so stressful because you have to dot the I, cross the T, and make sure everything is in there. And it's like we have 3 properties that we are acquiring, and each of them have to have like 3 binders each, or some of them have to have 6 binders each. And who's putting the binders together? Moi. So it's been that, and then there's some other stuff that I'm doing with the music,
Yeah, how was that going?
The music thing it's going well.
Your show was really nice.
Thank you very much. I'll be playing at this place called the Empire in Springfield, Virginia.
Oh, I used to work out there.
Really? Yeah, I'll be playing
Out
there. I'm like a special guest.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, special guest for this other band that will be playing. They called me. And then in July, I'll be playing in Baltimore at this thing called the Indie Jam. And basically what it is...
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's going to be like it's in a classroom, but it's like different classrooms. You can go to different musicians or stuff like that. So that should be exciting. And then I'm getting interviewed on a bunch of online magazines and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. And then I'm working on doing a music video. This guy, I got in contact with this guy, and we're going to do a music video starting in July. So that should be really interesting and exciting. But it's a lot of work. That's when my head's going to spin off. This weekend, I'm actually going to a music conference on Sunday from 10 to 5. So I will not be teaching Zumba. I have that off, but I will be sitting in a conference. So hopefully that'll be interesting and wild and crazy.
So it seems like you are filling up your time with music.
It seems like that, doesn't it?
No, which is a good thing.
No, I'm
because
saying
maybe you're how do you say? You're slowly but surely breaking into that realm. Do you know what I mean? Moving away from.
I am. It's interesting. Years ago, Dr. Reverend Bazemore said to me, well, when are you going to do something with your music? When God gives you a gift, you're supposed to use it. That was many moons ago. So yeah, no, my focus is the music. I think that with the music, you can still touch people, spiritually and all that stuff.
I think it's a great audience to do that, because we watch these shows like America's Got Talent, The Voice, not American Idol, but
right. No, I agree.
But we constantly say how it's a way to move people, because really good singers, like, I'll get goosebumps.
Right.
You're like, oh my God, I want to go buy that. But there's always, I feel like, a way to put a message in there. You know what I mean? Because songs get stuck in your mind sometimes, and the best way with a good artist, because bad songs can get stuck in your mind too, but if it has a good positive message, that's a really good way.
Definitely. In fact, the girl that won American Idol, She has a beautiful voice. And there was a song that she sang, a remake of a song. And, you know, when she sang it, the people were like, that was the best version of that song that they've ever heard, the entire American Idol. And so the song that she sang when she won is called I Am Beautiful, and it's such a beautiful song. And then basically the lyrics are about, you know, she's dating somebody and the person just is abusive towards her to a certain degree, verbally abusive. And she says, you know what, I'm not listening to you anymore because I'm listening to his word, meaning she's listening to God's word. And it just says, and God says, I am beautiful. So, you know, this morning on my way to work, I had that blasting in my head. I was listening to my iPod, and you could feel the emotion and power in her voice, and I think she used to sing gospel and stuff like that. So she's really amazing. Yeah, the music thing, I'm really pushing it also, but you know, I'm still sticking to my roots. I even have to work on my newsletter this weekend because the spiritual stuff is very important to me. So it's about balancing all of it. Together and making sure that things come out right. Today, in our current events, I wanted to talk about the Boy Scouts. Those Boy Scouts. You weren't a Girl Scout?
No.
No, you Haitian for real.
I don't know. Going to an all-girls school, does that count?
No.
No, okay.
So I was a Girl Scout. In fact, I love what they, you know, if you really think about it now, I was a brownie. Where do they come up with that word brownie? You know, when you're brownie, I don't know. Anyway, I was a brownie, never made it further. I don't know why I left. But anyway, I got to learn how to horseback ride, went camping and all that stuff, and I don't like bugs.
I'm the same way.
I have to give kudos to the Boy Scouts because, you know, they ratified their laws or amendments or whatever they have that, you know, they wouldn't allow gay kids and gay boys in their or homosexual boys.
Maybe I did hear something.
And
about that.
yeah, in their chapter or whatever, their groups, they changed that to allow them. Yet they still won't allow the leaders to be gay for whatever reason. But at least that's a step in the right direction. But the reason I wanted to talk about that was because there's so many churches that are now abandoning them, and these churches sponsor them. I was reading.
But how does, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
before you continue, how does Boy Scout, isn't it little kids?
Uh-huh.
So how do they know if they're gay or not?
They do. Kids.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't know when
it's
would
not
that,
just little kids. There are they're teens in there. They're 12
but when
years.
would that come up? Like, I'm just kind of confused in terms of
when it comes to people that are ignorant in their belief system towards gays, they don't care. The Boy Scout could be a 2-month-old, and they're going to think that those kids are going to have influence on that one child. You know, the age range in Boy Scouts can range from, I think, about 6 years old and up, I believe. I don't know exactly, but I know they're teenagers, there's young adults.
No, I understand that, but I'm just, if I understand the program, just like I understand Girl Scouts, it's about building like self-confidence and, you know, through
they don't care about
through
that.
like sewing and horseback riding, like you said.
Yeah, no, they don't care about that.
But when do they teach like sex ed or something?
No, they're as far as I can remember. Now, you know, I'm prehistoric, but when I remember, they don't teach you that stuff like that.
So when would somebody's sexuality come up?
They're afraid that, well, they were afraid that when the kids got together, that maybe the kid that really likes boys might try to, you know,
okay.
you know.
I'm sorry. I had to understand. Like, did you have to take a lie detector test before you joined?
No,
or something?
I mean, there's some of those boys, you know, were out. It's not like they were in there and they were like, yeah, I'm going to the Boy Scouts. I'm going to meet a little friend. I'm going to hook up. That's not the mindset.
No, just
no, I know. But that's not the
clarification.
mindset of the whole regime, the whole Boy Scout, Girl Scout regime. Like you said, you're supposed to learn unity. You're supposed to campfire, sing along. It's about being friends. It's about being in a group and being cohesive with one another. That's the main thing about trying to become a leader. Those are the main things about being in the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. But what people don't understand is that, you know, these kids weren't even thinking about these things. It's the adults that make them aware of these things.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
like,
they
thing.
put
It's like,
yeah, they put that in their minds.
Do I even know what that is? You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting because now I've read over the internet researches and stuff like that. The kids really know at a very young age when they start liking the same sex or whatever.
Okay, they might like him, but are they going to react or
they're not
take it to like that level?
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Most kids around that age, they don't take it to that level.
I mean, I'm just thinking back in kindergarten. I mean, the most, as far as I can remember, is like playing tag, running around.
Right,
you know,
that's it.
But nothing more to that, because even your bodies hadn't even started changing and questioning, like, oh, something weird is going on here, you know.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's not, you know, they're young kids. They're aware. They may be aware of who they are, but it's not at that point where they're interested in seeing how they can connect with the other person on that level. No, they're definitely not at that point. So you can see the ignorance that was there for a long time, but kudos to them. They decided to change that. And now a lot of the churches are not backing them anymore. Baptist church, Catholic church.
But, I mean, again, I bring back, what does that have to do with their mission statement? Do you know what I mean?
Well, like, with the fact that Baptist church and Catholic church don't believe in gays, and the fact that the Boy Scouts are supporting the gay Boy Scouts, they don't like that, so they're not going to back them anymore. You know, even on Facebook, I said, you know what? Good riddance to those churches, because God is their source, not those churches. So if those churches that are supposed to be teaching about tolerance and love and acceptance cannot accept this, they need to move on. Yeah. They don't need, the Boy Scouts don't need that type of energy around them.
Well, I just think it's ridiculous, too, like, if you are promoting, you know, set of values, but not embodying them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, what does that mean? But I still go back. I don't understand how somebody, how does that go against their mission statement? Like, if their mission...
It doesn't go against their mission statement, but what the problem with the ignorance is that they believe that, if they allow, because they think that it goes against the core beliefs of the boy. Well, they believed that in the past, that it went against their core beliefs. Like, there's, you know, there's a thing against homosexuality.
Okay, so as you bring all this up, I'm going to bring up the military.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask, don't tell, yeah.
And, you know, I don't know the whole scope of what's going on because I hear bits and pieces. But I don't think somebody's sexual orientation should be under fire. Like,
no, it shouldn't at all.
I mean, because, okay, military, you could say that's like your job. Mm-hmm. You know, for some people, that's their job. Or even Boy Scouts, that could be considered a job or an activity or a group, you know, an extracurricular activity. I mean, where do you draw the line in what somebody does in their private, personal space?
I agree with you 100%.
And what goes out into public. And then I thought we had something where it was separation of church and state, but then I understand because they get the church involved into, you know, the private sector.
Right.
They are entitled to remove their funds. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it is out of ignorance. And
it's ignorance.
In this, I just can't believe it in this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
That we are still very...
but look how long it took.
I don't even want to say it's conservative. Maybe it is a conservative approach. But I think it's just very one-sided.
It's sad, but look how long it took for people to accept black and white people together. It took a long time for people to, because for the longest time, you know, we had to drink in separate fountains, use separate doors, use separate toilets, well, not we, our ancestors had to do that. And it took a long time for all of that to stop. And so one day, this too will stop. People are just going to say, okay, gay people are here, we're going to accept this. Now, the thing for me is that I don't think a person should have to talk about what their sexuality is. You know,
that's what I mean. Like, gay people how does that come up?
But ignorant people have made it an issue. Are you gay? Are you straight? Nobody asks anybody, are you heterosexual? They don't ask that question.
And you know, it's funny that you bring this up because I have a classmate of mine, and I mean, I think I just take people for themselves. I had no idea he was gay. You know, and he's like, are you kidding me? You can't tell? I'm like, I mean, that's like saying that looking at me.
There's some people you can tell.
No, but I'm saying it's just like saying, looking at me, you think I'm just straight black or something, but I'm not. You know what I mean? So it's just judging somebody off of the book. But in getting to know him and asking questions, I was interested to find out, like, he does performances in drag, and I was like, what's the difference? You know, I was just learning stuff because to me, and they have the right to do so, because I feel like they've sheltered themselves in a way, like really protected themselves from outsiders, very like kind of like, unless you're in, you don't know. Right. Do you know what I mean? And so it was kind of reassuring for me because I was like, oh, well, I learned more than what is out there. Oh, they're Satan devil. You know, I was like, wow, it's kind of creative what they're doing. And I mean, showed me some of the pictures. Like, I was like flabbergasted how feminine they look. I was like, wow.
There's some men that you cannot tell that they're men.
I could not tell, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, wow. Like, can I get some tips? Like, you know? But just to say that, like, I don't pry into people's like personal life. Just like, yeah, you said nobody comes up to you and is like, yo, are you heterosexual? And what do you be doing at night? You know? Do you know what I'm saying?
No,
it's just like one of those things that, okay, it is what it is. But I do know in the past decade, more than a decade, where we are now is much more open.
No, it's way more open.
Way more open.
We have it on TV,
the internet, and
we have it all over the place. It's way more open,
and the community is more outspoken.
Yes,
like even when I first started dating my boyfriend, and it was funny because it was during a gay pride parade in DC, and we were like, oh, let's go to DuPont, but we didn't know what was going down, you know. And we're walking through, and I'm like, okay. And then I started being like, okay, why? Okay, something's going on. But all the guys are like staring at him, you know, and they look at me like I was like totally not getting it at first. But I guess I admired their culture for coming together and celebrating it openly, you know, than being ashamed behind closed doors, because it goes back to like you only live once, and this is how they're choosing to express themselves and live their life publicly and openly, you know what I mean, versus, I don't know, something about being ashamed of who you are behind closed doors, you know what I mean? Like they said, I guess Ellen DeGeneres, when she came out of the closet, I know she stopped doing the show, but the other day I was reading something that she's like one of the highest paid women in entertainment because
she has her talk show.
She's comfortable with who she is.
She is.
And I think being comfortable with who you are, whether you are heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, transgender, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Once you are solid in your foundation, nothing can kind of shake you. Right. And whatever people throw at you won't matter. And it's just weird that we're having this conversation because the guy who I'm friends with, I feel like he battles with that a lot. The acceptance, because he'll come to school with eyeliner, but still dress up in a suit. But still, and he's a little bit younger, in his early 20s, so trying to figure out.
I mean, but the suit and the eyeliner could be his style, too.
No, but still, no, he's comfortable, but then the world.
Because there's guy liner.
Right, but then it's like how the world interacts with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How the world, because not everybody, and then depending on where you travel, is accepting and open.
Oh, yeah.
But Europeans, I feel, are more open and accepting.
Oh, yeah, boy, Europeans are definitely more open to everything. They walk naked outside. They don't care. Here in the United States, people are prudish. It's a very prudish state, but, you know, to each his own.
Well, to some extent, I'm sorry, this is kind of off topic, but we were watching the guy who broke the women out of the house. Mm-hmm. The man who held them hostage
Charles Ramsey.
For 10 years. Mm-hmm. That story was kind of crazy. I'm sorry. Like, in America, holding women hostage like that, and
I'm sure. But that case is, there are plenty of cases. That's been going on for a long time here. It's just that this case is just ridiculous in the sense that he's had them for 10 years. And
they were chained and stuff?
They were chained, and they were abused, and they were beaten. Well, one was beaten more than anything, more than the others. One got pregnant, had the child.
But who had the baby for her?
One of the girls. And the man threatened the girl to say, if that baby does not survive, I will kill you. Let me tell you something. If people don't believe when God is there, God helped that girl. She had, first of all, they said that girl they said she's kind of slow. She had not mental disability, but a little slow and challenging. And she figured out how to make sure, because when the baby came out, the baby wasn't breathing and stuff like that. And he told her, if she dies, you're going to, and he, miraculously, she was able to make sure that the baby was alive. No. And that is only God.
And then like healthy, you know what I'm saying?
That is only God. But stuff like that where women are being held, that happens every day here. And because once that story broke out, I went and read a bunch of other stories about how a lot of these women were being held and they were freed later on and stuff like that.
I know that we jumped from different topics, but it's just seeming that, I don't know, people's perception on things. Like, prior to that coming out, you're like, say what? Like, you feel like sometimes you heard everything. But then it's like something else comes up.
I mean, you cannot believe that a person would be so deviant that they would think that they have the right to take three daughters. These girls were daughters. They had parents. The one girl that had his child, sadly, her mother got ill. The mother had been looking for that child for years and years, and she basically died of sickness and sadness.
And I think on top of that, when it was Ramsey that rescued him, he was like, I used to barbecue with him, and he'd invite me to his yard.
But it's interesting that nobody, even his own daughter, never questioned why they could never go into certain rooms in the house. My butt would have been like, why? What are you hiding? Why can't I go in here? Especially who I feel really bad for besides the girls are his two brothers that were apprehended with him. And they knew nothing. They absolutely knew nothing of what this man was doing.
I thought they knew. I thought
no, they didn't. They were not part of it at all. They just happened to be at the house at that moment. And when the police did their investigative reporting, they realized those brothers knew nothing. They've all disowned him. His daughter said she never wants to see her father again. The brothers, they don't want his family members, none of them want anything to do with him.
I wouldn't either.
One of the girls.
What is that about, though? Where does he get that in his mind that he's like?
He said, and there was a point in 2004 where he had written a suicide note because he planned to take his own life.
What?
That he's basically nympho. He's a sexual. He didn't call himself a sexual deviant, but he said he just had these sexual urges. Rather than going to a prostitute, he felt it in his mind, why not cage 3 girls and abuse them and just have sex with them whenever I want to? That's what his mindset is. Now, if anybody tries to go in his mind to try to figure out why he did this thing, you can't figure that out. He's a person that had issues, and what he did is extremely wrong. However, the family and the girls will have to forgive him one day in order to move on. There's got to be, they don't have to like him. They could hate him for the rest of his life, but they have to forgive him and move on because they will never be able to really live a full life until they do that. Even some of those girls, that blonde girl, I can't remember what her name was, that was kidnapped. and sexually abused. They
yeah.
talk about that.
Was it Smart?
Yeah,
something?
they talk about that. They said there's a point where you have to have
No, I don't think
forgiveness
that
and
was
then you
it.
move on from
That
it.
was somebody
It's not
else.
to say that you're going to have to talk to that person ever again, but obviously they're going to need a lot of therapy. The one girl, he impregnated her like 5 times, beat the hell out of her, so she would miscarry, and to the point that they said she's going to have surgery eventually on her face because he beat her so badly. And nobody, you can't understand why a person would do this. And the man was friends with one of the girl's fathers. The Hispanic girl's father. He was friends. He even helped to look for the girls when they were looking for them.
That's just
And so now the people, they're focused on trying to put their lives together, live their lives, and they want to go to school. I just read that they plan on, I think there's some money pulled together so that those girls can go to college for free. And the reward money is going to go to them. The reward money is in the millions of dollars, but you know what? That's never going to make up for the atrocities
Oh my God.
that happened to them.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
But back to the gay thing, I think they instituted in the military, don't ask, don't tell, more to protect the gays than anything else. Because, some people are very hard and cruel, and they don't care. And so they'll beat, kill you, whatever, if they know that you are
But
a certain
at the
thing.
same time, not in terms of, I'm not sure what's going on with the gay community, but the other day I was in on a conversation about women in the military and how certain things happen to them, but if they speak up about it, they're punished, while the people who have committed the crime or the assault or the rapes are running around scot-free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is up with that?
That's because the military is a very male-dominated group. I don't agree with that, but that's what happens, and they kind of brush things aside.
So how is that, it's like kind of going with the same don't ask, don't tell type of thing, not to protect the gays, but it's going against like women and the staggering thing was not only are women getting raped, but men are getting raped too. So it's going like both ways, and I said, I don't know. I don't think I would have survived in the military because I'm kind of a headstrong person at times. That structured life is not for me. Somebody yelling and shouting at me, even my mom, that gets a little nerve-wracking. But it seems like a form of prison.
But you know what? No,
do you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, but it's the choice that they've made.
To join,
it's not fair
to join, but not to get raped.
It's not fair that these things are going on. There's got to be a person that's got to stand up for these things,
or somebody that you can feel comfortable and go talk to about it.
I think more and more we'll see that the people that are being abused will be avenged in some way, in the sense that somebody's going to hear them, and these people are going to go to jail. Recently, there was a guy that works in D.C. He was head of the investigative unit for sexual assault stuff, and he was in a bar and he groped this woman. The woman beat the crap out of him, but he was dismissed. Yet he was head of the assault division.
That's how
the people were so appalled by this. So now, and I think it was today I was reading on CNN, where they're really going to investigate a lot of the assaults that happen on the different bases.
No, I think it's a great idea because you don't want to be in a environment. Yes, we love serving your country, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing: is that they glorify being in the military too much. You see, because parents say, "Oh, my child is a hero." Yeah, they may be a hero because they decided to say, okay, I'm going to risk my life to save my country, to save somebody else's country, but they glorify it too much to the point that some of the military men, some of the military women get this head on their shoulders, thinking that they're very cocky, thinking they're invincible, and thinking that they should be allowed to do certain things. It's like this one guy that was in Afghanistan, I think it was Afghanistan or Iraq, where he murdered an entire, not an entire village, but a group of people. Yeah. Now, he said that he pleaded guilty because he said he did do it. But he said there was a point at that time where he just had some kind of rage. And it's sad, because this man had dedicated his life to preserve his country, to protect others, and some switch went off on him and within him, and he just got angry. He got angry at his surroundings, especially for those military people that have gone on triple tours, 10 tours, 4. I mean, that has got to weigh heavily. You don't see your family. You're in the dust all the time. You don't know if you're going to die, you're going to live.
Oh, I think it's a lot of psycho trauma. Do you know what I mean? And
there's post-traumatic stress. They all suffer from it. They all do.
And I think with the close of the war and when most of these young men and women come home, like, you're going to get a strong surge of that here. Just...
They don't know how to deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, coming back to this reality is going to be very, very difficult, because America has changed. If you've been in war for 10 years...
it's changed drastically.
The 10 years ago and the 10 years ago now, 10 years now...
Now it's totally different.
It is. And you can say technology played a major role in that. But just in dealing with people, dealing with situations, and my point is, and it goes maybe back to the spiritual level, like, how do we define right and wrong? And my opinion of what is right or what is wrong may be not yours. Do you know what I mean? But do we meet each other halfway, or do we just straight put up a wall and say, well, I'm just not going to deal with you because you don't agree with me, and
I don't think you do that. You accept that everybody has a difference of opinion, but there is a fine line between right and wrong. People know what's right. People know what's wrong.
No. But I'm going to go take it back to the Boy Scout discussion. Those churches feel like they're in the right, but I don't feel that they're in the right. Do you know what I mean? But they have a very rigid...
because they've been brought up
and what is wrong.
Right.
But they're not even willing to budge on their position to meet this organization. Ignorance. Exactly. So, like, I guess my point is, when as a society do we stop and listen to the other group?
That's when you're a person. That's when you're a real spiritual person, and you're into openness, and you truly understand God. The problem is everybody has a definition of what their God is. That's number one.
And that's why I feel like them putting up that wall is not truly living in a spiritual way.
No, they're definitely not.
But they're coming from in the eyes of the people. People are following them, and they're coming up. My religion, I'm this, I'm that, so I'm going to stand by. But it's like misrepresentation of the fundamental principles or truths of what it is.
But the thing is, it's a cycle for them, because they've been taught by other people that this is the truth. The thing is, we all believe in a certain truth. And I believe that the truth that sets you free or makes you happy is the truth that you need to follow, as long as it's positive, loving, and harmonious. Now, the problem with these churches, the Baptist Church, Catholic Church, whatever churches they are, that preach intolerance and hate and all this other stuff, they have no concept of God, yet they believe that they do. You cannot have a God that's going to destroy and hate his own children. It just doesn't make sense. They try to rationalize it. How many popes or how many priests out there are coming out where they've molested the men that have been in the churches and stuff like that? They're all those ones that are complaining about this, how they don't like gay, they don't like this, they're gay themselves. There was one of those, it was a black preacher He had a big congregation. It was on the years
the one
ago.
That was with the little boys.
He paid those boys off.
Yeah.
He paid those boys off.
I remember.
I mean, these people are stupid. They don't think that that's going to come out later. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking in their mind. They're obviously not thinking with that head. They're thinking with another head. That's why they'll never talk. I've got them. And what's the problem is that when they engage with these boys in any manner, they know that they can get them because these kids look up to them.
Right.
So there's a sense of power over them.
Right.
And that's the thing that turns these preachers and all this stuff on with this whole situation. It's really sad. I think eventually one day things will turn around. I believe what comes around goes around, plays a big part with these different churches, because you're deciding to leave an organization because of stupidity. Okay, when people start leaving you, it's a cycle, and it's going to happen. It's going to.
It's like the karmic wheel.
Yeah, it's a big karmic thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which was really interesting, is about this Cheerios commercial. There's a Cheerios commercial that came out that was so cute. It is this girl, this little girl is talking to her mother. The little girl is biracial, but she's dark pigmentation, but you could tell that the child is biracial, and her mother is white. And so the child is talking to her mother, and it's a Cheerios commercial, and she goes, do you think, will Cheerios help Daddy with his heart and stuff like that? And she explains it to her, and she's like, okay. And then the next thing you see is the father laying on the couch with a heart shaped out of Cheerios on his chest, which is cute. But the father is black, dark-skinned black. So Cheerios put this, they put the video on YouTube because they got a lot of backlash for the commercial. They were astounded at the amount of racism they came out because of this commercial. People were just saying Nazi, they were calling bigger, they use words I've never heard of, but extreme racism over this commercial. Yet what ended up happening was that Cheerios said, we're standing by this commercial.
Good for them.
We wanted to show you a family, and that is what we did. What's interesting is that in the commercial, the only interaction that the mother has with the father, she has none. At the end of the commercial, the guy just calls out to his wife. That's it. She's just having a conversation with her little girl about the Cheerios. But what ended up happening with this commercial is that there's so many people that love it than against it. And so now, the haters keep on hating because more people are buying the Cheerios and eating it.
And interesting you bring that up because, I'm in school, and today we had a critique, and a big push now in the design world is that you have to promote diversity. Like my teacher got on one of the students because her collateral piece had just white women. And she's a black girl, but she was like, I look at this and you have a problem here. And she asked us, what's the problem? And she's like, you only use white women for your brand. And in the world today, that's going to get you nowhere.
Good for
you
her.
have to have a combination, because when you go outside, who are your consumers?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
The world is so expansive. No client is going to take what you showed them that way. Like, you have to mix it up. And I'm glad that she said that, because it goes along with Cheerios standing by, because they're looking forward. Now, now and forward, because it's not 1950. We're not segregated. They ain't gonna make 2 Cheerio commercials, okay?
No, they're not.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's just not realistic. You know what I'm saying? And even Gap pushed the limit. Remember last summer or spring, they had all the billboards with the 2 men kissing in the same shirt. And I said, when I saw that, I was like, wow, Gap really stepped it up.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Because, they put it out there like, come on, if y'all don't see this, I don't know where you're living. Because it's going on around you. And that's another point to make is I think what's happening now in marketing and a lot of the industries is the baby boomers are kind of fading out. Mm-hmm. And you're getting more of the next generation, and then you're getting the interns of the younger generation. You know what I mean? So the culture that is like kind of like coming about is a more tolerant society. Now the people who are ignorant and making these comments aren't ready, are not in that industry. Do you know what I'm saying? Are not in those positions of, I think, influence, because media, print, really, there's just so many. I think we started off talking about points of influence. With the moment, you don't even have to step out your house. The moment you wake up, you're bombarded constantly with messages. Some of them are spiritual, but some of them are trash. Like you can put in your bucket list, like I'm not going to listen to. But all of those, I guess to say, is that are created and are targeted here and there. So what you pick and choose is really important. And I think Cheerios was really smart for making that commercial.
No. So what did the girl say? The black girl that did the thing with all white women. I'm surprised that she did that. But I mean, there could be a good reason why she did that.
Well, the reason I kind of know her, and there's two things. One, I know she probably found easier graphics that were free. But two, her concept, she was building a day spa. So I think her target was maybe
white women.
But you can't
do that because that's discrimination.
Right, and that's not to say that.
But I think in her mind.
Right, those are the people that
she sees that goes there. Because I think in the mindset, stereotypically, you're not thinking, oh, the black women are going to the day spa. Because if you really look at some of the commercials, when you see a commercial for Aveda or something like that, you see white women going in there.
And even funnier, I have a coworker. She's Caucasian, but she gets tracks. So I had a whole long discussion with her about weave today, and she knew more than me. I was like, wow. Like, she's like, oh, I'm about to get my extensions glued out. I might go buy some Remy and put it. I was like, okay. She's like, I use 3 different packs, 3 different colors, and this and that. And we had this whole long discussion about how, well, she says most of her friends are black. But when she starts talking to black women about this, they get offended.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you know why? And she was like, I have no idea. And I was like, all right, let me educate you a little. But I said, you have to think of it more from the perspective that I'm not sure they think you need it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of hard for me to explain to her. Like, it's like, I think more and more. I've met some women that are African American, black, whatever, who wear extensions because they just like it.
Right.
And others that are freaking addicted to
it.
Like every other day I gotta have a different weave, and I'm gonna spend $500 and import it from here and there and this and that. And I guess that's why I love Chris Rock for making that movie. But going back to the topic, it was just interesting, and I said, I mean, maybe 5-10 years ago, I don't think they even made extensions for white women, but maybe they did. And
they've had them for a while.
I know in Hollywood, they've had them, but maybe not as widespread.
Right.
And I was just shocked because I don't know, that it's just the culture is just changing. But why not? Shoot, if they want, anybody can do anything out here.
Yeah. Why not?
You don't have to be a certain race or color, ethnicity, or whatever. And I like people who say, well, you paid for it, didn't you? It's yours.
Yeah, that's right. You can put it in your hair if you want to. You can put it anywhere you want to.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
No, I agree. So that's the spiritual insights. Those are the current events. When we come back, Erlene's going to give us some new cards or old cards or whatever cards, and she's going to teach us about something else, and it's going to be lovely. So, until we come back in a few minutes. And so we're back with you at the Infinite Elevation Hour. Now Arlene is going to teach us about something here, about tarots and about love, I think.
No, it's my saint card. So.
Yeah, but you have a book on love.
Oh yeah. Which one? Prospering Powers of Love? Okay. Well, maybe we should go there first. Amazingly enough, I had gotten this book at the bookstore, but it was like a old bookstore or whatever, and I was led to get this book by Catherine Ponder. Actually, Silver Spring Books. They have used out of print and collectible books. And so let's see. I guess I opened something that was like go to the tab. And what it does is it kind of outlines how to bring maybe more love and prosperity into your life. And I like it in a simplified way, you know. So I'll read bits and pieces. But here we go. I'll just read a little excerpt. Rich, appropriate, divine ideas now come to me from every direction. I wisely use them now. Stop feeling guilty about wanting to be prosperous. Instead, begin to study the Bible as a great prosperity textbook. You'll be amazed and delighted by the prosperity techniques it will unfold to you. For instance, the first chapter of Genesis emphasizes the power there is in speaking definite words that will produce definite results. Let there be is God's prosperity decree. And just with that, like, it's helped me more come to an understanding that kind of like the whole like peace be still, but like just chill out sometimes, you know, because sometimes we can get wrapped up in doing so much, and I kind of feel like that right now. And I was asking myself, like, what can I like kind of do to unburden myself from certain things? But I think that's what my weekends have become more for, you know, because once Monday hits, it's like go, 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 go. But it's a difference because now I don't feel like I'm struggling, you know. It's like, okay, I'm getting through the day. But in my mind, I'm able to be abundant and prosperous, you know. So I guess that, and then learning to speak your truth, speak what you want, things that we've learned, but maybe people out there haven't taken heed to. So anyhow, I just wanted to share that your ideas do matter, that they are from God, and that you can do what you do. And I guess I didn't bring any art stuff today, but usually like when I do draw, I don't think I have anything planned sometimes. Yeah. And it just comes out, and that's just the way it is.
And that's the way it is.
And today I was showing someone, they were like, oh, this is really good. I was like, oh, thanks. But like, I feel like I didn't really put much effort into it, you know?
Sometimes you don't have to put that much effort into something. It just flows.
That's what I mean. And it just took me aback, and I was like, maybe I've been looking at it from the wrong perspective. You know what I mean? That just shifted my like take on it, you know, and I'm understanding the process maybe a little bit more. Because I feel like out there it's like, oh, you gotta work hard, you gotta sweat, you gotta toil, you gotta... No. On some levels, yes. And whenever I put like, it's gonna be a good day, I'm relaxing, calm, and whatever, like I'll have those days. But that doesn't mean I don't work through. Like today I was like, I knew going in, like I have to have my game face on. Like it's on and popping. Like, come on. You know, so it's like that mental conversation that we have to have with ourselves to gear ourselves up. That's kind of where I am. So what I like to do also for mental preparation is my cards, which I've kind of neglected with my busy schedule. So we're going to do a set of cards. We can pick 3. See what's going on. And again, these are just angel cards. I'm not the best shuffler or whatever.
You know, Doreen Virtue has a you can get certified to doing cards or angel cards.
Oh,
There's
really?
a certification in DC in September. It's like $150.
Let me know about that. I think I would do that.
Oh, well, I'll send you the page on Facebook. You know what that is?
Oh, maybe not Facebook.
I have to send it. No, I can probably. I'll send you the link the website to your email.
No, because I was thinking even
Because I checked into
even
it.
reading with cards, but again, Natalie,
Yeah, sure.
that's time.
I mean, it's all the way in
Yeah.
September, so you might be able to.
Yeah, I want to chillax when I graduate.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's a one-day thing, so you might.
I don't know. We'll see.
But you get certified in teaching her angel card.
Go ahead, pick your cards. I should have picked my cards before I gave it to you.
No, you didn't.
I know. I like your shoes.
They're all beat up.
I couldn't tell. Maybe the whole like platform of them. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna shuffle again. Let's see. What do you want me to know? What am I working on? Let's see. Oh, thank you. All right. Now. Dun 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 dun.
Dark.
All right. Do you want to go first? Your first card. What's the number?
34. Saint Expeditus.
All right. Encounters of fate. Opportunities that must not be wasted. Saint Expeditus is an accelerant of bureaucracy, the conclusion of business, and finds work. That makes sense. You've been busy.
47. Jacobus. Jacob.
An evangelized Spaniard where Spain, where he is buried in Compostelas. A fulfilled man, a scholar, a politician. Do you know a fulfilled man, a scholar, a politician? I think I do know who they're talking about.
Ooh.
Keep going.
Ooh.
Keep going.
But this has to do in my life.
I know.
Who's the?
Your friend.
Which friend is that?
Never mind. Keep going.
Whose friend is that?
The one that traveled.
Traveled. Which one? Oh, the guy in the. Oh, that's done, child.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. And that was your friend.
Number 1.
Or maybe you will encounter that person. Considered the gem of priests. Helps with meditation. A trusted friend. Well-established love. Generosity.
Alrighty.
All right. Here we go. You can read my number. 29. It's okay.
Got a yawn, sorry. Oh, I'm reading the French version. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, it's like so many different languages in there.
Brothers who were doctors treated men and animals. Success in sciences aid healing.
Oh, my tooth. Thank you. All right. Number 2. Looks like I need to read my Bible more.
Protects against injury of limbs, overcoming of problems.
And 42. Saint Georgius.
Mother of Constantine. Oh, no, sorry. Protects new homes, scout. It goes, protects new homes, scouts, and horse riders. Relationships with professional environment, solidarity. It's funny it said scouts.
Yeah. He looks like a scout on a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, again, you can do these cards. You can get your own deck to gain a little bit clarity in your life. And I guess we're going to move along.
We're gonna move along. So I wanted to talk about, I don't know if it's in this book. I think it's in the other book. You know, there's many different mystery schools, the ancient mystery schools. It's called the angel. There's an angelic hierarchy, Pan and the nature spirits, evolution, and ecology, the Huna teachings, now that one I know, the Egyptian mysteries, initiation in the Great Pyramid, the science of soul travel, healing with color and sound, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, God's revelation, the sacred paths of yoga, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the church's contamination by ego, an esoteric understanding of Judaism, the Seen Brotherhood, the Kabbalistic tree of life, the keys of Enoch, the mighty I Am presence, Sufism, Shinto, the way of the gods, Baha'i, the world's newest religion. I wanted to talk a little bit about the I Am presence, because that's the one that they often talk about in the church that we go to.
Where did you get this book? Did you order it online?
Oh dear, I've had this stuff for the longest time. This is a book by, it's a series. It's a series. And this is, I don't know, this is one of the books in the series. It's by Joshua David Stone.
I'm going to get that.
And it's called Hidden Mysteries. Now, this version of the book focuses on extraterrestrials, ancient mystery schools, and ascension. So it focuses on many different aspects. But there are several books in his series. I don't have all of them. I just wanted some of them.
I don't know about extraterrestrials, but...
Oh, I love that stuff. He has the Ascension Manual, how to teach essential classes, Beyond Ascension, Soul Psychology. He has a bunch of them. So, the Mighty I Am Presence. The Mighty I Am Presence. Of the many teachings and systems of spiritual study I have been involved with, one of the most interesting and useful is the I Am Teachings of Saint Germain. The I Am Discourses are books that were channeled by Godfrey Ray King in the 1930s and 1940s. Godfrey Ray King was trained as a channel, and he brought forth from Saint Germain and later from other ascended masters beautiful teachings. My personal orientation is more closely in alignment with Dwal Kul teachings through the Theosophical Society, the Alice Bailey books, and the Dependent Foundation. However, I find that the Saint Germain teachings dovetail perfectly with that material. The teachings are simple and non-dimensional. I believe that Saint Germain purposely wrote these books in a simple manner so the average person could read and understand them without being overwhelmed by massive amounts of occult information such as presented in the theosophical literature. I do not say this to criticize the theosophical material, for I have benefited greatly from it, but it is an obvious fact that many of the books are extremely difficult to read. The I Am teachings are just the opposite. They don't overwhelm the reader with a lot of Eastern or religious terminology. The basic concept of the I Am teachings of Saint Germain is that the most powerful name of God in the world is the name I Am. When Moses climbed Mount Sinai to speak with God and saw the burning bush, God told him that his name was I Am, that I am. Anytime you use the words I Am, you're affirming God's name and your own. When you say I'm going to the store, you're really saying God is going to the store without even realizing it. Saint Germain and the other ascended masters suggest that whenever you make affirmation, you use the words I am to begin them. For example, I could say, I am the ascended master I wish to be now. The affirmation becomes more powerful when you use the words I am. Saint Germain said that Jesus Christ's favorite affirmation was, I am the resurrection and the life. He apparently used this affirmation often during his life in Palestine. The following affirmations are from the I Am Discourses by Godfrey Ray King, exactly as Saint Germain and the Ascended Masters channeled them. I highly recommend that you choose your favorite ones from the list and use them every day. I also recommend that you read the books by Godfrey Ray King. Other teachings have followed in more recent times, but these were the first, in my opinion. They are the purest. There are also I Am foundations, organizations in many locations, such as Mount Shasta and Los Angeles. So I'll just read the one that he put in here. It says, I Am affirmations of Saint Germain. Be still and know I am God. I am God living in his body as, and then you put your name. I am a fully liberated God living in his body as, and you put your name. I am the mighty I Am presence. I am this ascended master, then you put your name. In the name of the beloved presence of God who I am, by the power of God who I am, the mighty I Am presence is my real self. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the truth, the way, and the life. I am the embodiment of divine love. I am the open door which no man can shut. I am God in action. I am the scepter of dominion, the quenchless flame, the dazzling light, and divine perfection made manifest. I am the revelation of God. I am the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I am the ascended being I wish to be now. I am the realization of God. I am an open door to all revelation. I am the light that lights up every room I enter. I am the presence of God in action this day. I am that I am. I am the eternal liberation for all human imperfection. I am a perfect channel and instrument of God. I am the presence filling my world with perfection this day. I am an invisible body of light. Bless you. I am the light that lights every man that comes into the world. I am the victory in the light. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. I am the cosmic flame of cosmic victory. And so it is. So that's a beautiful thing that people can say and do it. And then there's a long thing after that. Now, that's the I am. And next time we'll talk about something else, because we're here to learn. We're here to enjoy. We're here to create. We're here to talk about things that nobody else wants to talk about. I hope you had a good time. And remember, stay blessed.